We have a number of shared ministries in our regional council. Quite possibly there'll be someone in your breakout room that will have had some experience with a shared ministry. They're typically two pastoral charges, both looking for a half-time minister that decide that they will call the same minister. One of the requirements of the regional council is that they have a combined ministry and personnel committee to keep things running smoothly, but there's other ways of connecting and sharing as well. But it's not limited to a 50-50. There can be, a 40-60 or 25-75, depending on what people's needs are and the state of their pastoral charge. We have one SME site that is shared between two different communities of faith, two different congregations. There's many possibilities. The third style of ministry that has emerged in our pastoral charge or within our regional community is what we call cooperative ministry. And the example is the United Communities Ministry that involves 6 congregations, 5 pastoral charges. That is Beaverton, Cannington, Woodville, Peniel, Cambrai, and Oakwood.
Hello, my name is Carrie Jepson, and I present with you today in the role of the UCM Council Chairperson. Thank you for this opportunity to share a brief history and synopsis of our shared ministry. United Community Ministry, or UCM for short, is a collective of 6 rural and village congregations in 5 pastoral charges, which is situated on the traditional lands of the Mississaugas and covered by the Williams Treaty. It borders municipalities by being located in both Brock Township and the city of Kawartha Lakes. The collective's partners are Cambrai Community United Church, Oakwood United Church, Peniel United Church, Woodville United Church, Trinity Cannington United Church, and St. Andrew's Beaverton United Church. The seed was planted by an initiative by the former Kawartha Highlands Presbytery to offer to its members, communities of faith, an opportunity to learn about shared ministry and examples of various models. This took the form of geographically organized chat group sessions for congregations to participate, each area group led by a volunteer presbytery facilitator. Each session would include an information educational component as well as discussion time. Reverend Bob Root was hired by the presbytery to source, coordinate, and organize session material, as well as meet and prepare with the volunteer facilitators. This program ran for about 18 months over 2015 and 2016, with sessions held about every 2 or 3 months. All chat groups were also invited to a workshop presentation with guest speakers about multiple shared ministry topics. In the fall of 2015, several congregations of our area chat group started to meet with the intent of exploring a possible shared ministry. Over the next couple of years, much discussion, planning, and preparation took place with representatives from each interested congregation. We relied heavily on the information and documentation asked and received from the Genesis Cooperative of the Van Cleet Hill area, which had been in shared ministry together for a few years already. In September of 2018, our collective was officially recognized by the presbytery as an entity, having met all the preparatory process and procedure required. Our common reasons for exploring regional team ministry included a viable, sustainable option for small congregations to share employed ministry personnel while retaining individual identities, potential to share other aspects of ministry, i.e. programs, children, youth events and activities, community outreach, study groups, confirmation classes, mission and service awareness, social events, etc. A way to address shrinking membership and reduce finances and to still be church in purposeful and engaging ministry and service. An opportunity to offer full-time employment to ministry personnel, whereas many pastoral charges in our presbytery could only offer part-time or had no clergy. To be a presence and active participant in our communities. Potential to reduce meetings time and volunteer hours through combined efforts. Essential for our ministry together, of course, are the paid personnel who in serving contribute a wealth and breadth of individual gifts. Clergy, who have included transitional, intentional interim, and happily a full-time call now fulfilled. UCM team administrator and our area licensed lay worship leaders. Equitable volunteer roles fill the UCM Council, Ministry and Personnel Committee, Worship Committee, Treasurer, and Worship Leader Booking Coordinator. Also essential is a consistent and regular communication with our UCM membership, which is achieved largely through the use of email messages, notices, and newsletters sent to a contact of each partner congregation, who then distributes by email or print to their own members. UCM also has a website and Facebook page. Some of our collective endeavors to date are pre-COVID, inaugural worship service and celebration, combined seasonal worship and communion services throughout the year, hosted in turn by each partner congregation. This is about 6 services plus additional Holy Week services. Combined outdoor worship services, combined Christmas cantata choir, UCM annual meetings with potluck lunch, and invitations to individual congregations events like concerts, meals, bazaars, canoeing, and a Vibe children's program. During COVID, we have realized our ability to make changes to the ways we worship, work, and connect. While during the pandemic, our world may have necessarily contracted into our homes in many cases, we discovered that our world also grew with the many opportunities to expand our knowledge and advocacy, to form and strengthen bonds within our UCM family, and to see ministry through a new lens. Together, we thrive through Zoom live worship services with breakout visiting rooms, recorded worship services, recorded musicians and singers, Zoom UCM and Congregational Council board and annual meetings, Zoom entertainment night with recorded UCM participants sharing their talents or interests, Zoom trivia nights, combined outdoor summer services, and most recently, Zoom coffee time with the clergy. We look forward to post-COVID when with our new clergy, we may continue to explore being church together, renewed in the spirit, awakened to the needs of our communities and beyond, and in the knowledge that yes, we can do and be in service in different ways. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rev Dr Elizabeth Cunningham, and I am the minister to the United Community Ministry. I began my ministry with the UCM last July, and it was a wonderful introduction to the UCM because those were the outdoor worship services at Peniel United. And honestly, there's such a beautiful warmth amongst the different churches because they didn't sit in their little groups. They sat all mingled with each other, and it told me a lot about the effort that had gone into the formation of the UCM to create relationships between the churches. The opening months of my ministry with the UCM were spent primarily with getting to know the administrators and the secretaries of each congregation, as well as the musicians. And then also spending some time with the licensed lay worship leaders, who are very much the backbone of the structure of the UCM in terms of the worship services. Typically, I'm scheduled to lead worship for 2 churches on every Sunday. So the theory is that in 3 weeks, I've been to all the churches. The LLWLs are leading the worship in the other churches. So there is worship happening every Sunday across the UCM churches. It has been challenging getting to know the people in the pews, as we say, because I'm not at each church every single week. I get there like every 3rd week. And this is being compounded by the COVID protocols and face masks and the distancing. And most recently, we've moved back to online worship services. In 2022, we started this UCM coffee group on Zoom, which for the last couple of weeks has had anywhere from 15 to 20 people. So it's pretty awesome. I'll be starting a Zoom UCM book study group later in the spring. And I'm going to try and get a Messy Church initiative going on Zoom across the 6 churches. With the UCW, we're planning to watch the World Day of Prayer together on Zoom on March the 4th. Some of the learning curves for me have been letting go of this pastoral identity that you have in solo ministry, where you go into a congregation and you are their minister and you know everybody really quickly and they're your people. It's complicated when there's 6 churches and you only see them every once in a while. As well, another major learning curve has been if I'm working at one church with something important, and I'm working on that, and then something happens at one of the other churches, and I go over there, and I find I get distracted, and it's hard to remember to go back to where you were. So I'm learning a whole new set of skills in terms of tracking and follow-up. I'm very grateful that in the position description, they have reserved 15% of my time, as it says, to allow new passions and focuses to emerge. So whoever built that component into the call, that has been a godsend. It's a lifeline to the UCM and to the minister, because it gives us space to observe and to reflect and to discuss what is emerging in this very different and exciting ministry context. The position description actually says that the minister is to be observant of emerging needs and opportunities and to communicate this to the UCM Council and to provide guidance for it. And this seems to me to be at the very heart of the call, and it is challenging work to remain open to what the Spirit is doing in this very unique configuration, be open to how the Spirit is calling us to move forward, and to work with the UCM leadership to give definition to these thoughts and discussion around them. It says in their call that's up on the church hub of the UCM, it says the 6 churches of the UCM came together as an act of hope. And I am so grateful and honored to be partnered in that hopefulness. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ruth Falking, and I am the part-time team administrator for United Community Ministry. So about 3 years ago, which was about 4 months after UCM started its services, I applied for the position. It's about 12 hours a week. The work is mostly done from home on my computer. I attend council meetings as a non-voting member. A lot of the work is through email, some of it phone calls. And of course, I see some of these people in person. I'm actually, as it happens, a member of one of the 6 churches. So there's a lot of communication with clergy, LLWLs, secretaries, the council chair, and so on. The council chair is key. That's Carrie, who does a huge amount of work behind the scenes to keep everything going and organized. I put out a newsletter, a virtual newsletter twice a month. And a large part of what I've been doing since the pandemic is putting together videos. We record them on my smartphone, and I edit them and turn them into videos for YouTube. Even after we went back to live services, we've still been doing that. We have clergy. We are so fortunate to have Elizabeth. This clergy position is unique and really requires somebody who's a team player, who's very flexible, and who can think outside of the box. And so it's a pleasure to work with people. I think that this kind of structure can only work if you've got a really organized team behind the scenes, putting in the work and being positive about all of the changes that have to take place to make this work. Thank you.